All right, good morning and happy Friday. Can't you believe it's already last day of the month, March 31st. Tomorrow, April 1st, April Fool's Day. So looking forward, and also, the last day of the quarter one. This year is definitely going super quick. So I am honored and I am super stoked to have this phenomenal young agent, Mr. Justin. Justin has several years in the real estate realm. He's a commercial agent alongside Gabriel Guerrero, part of a phenomenal real estate, what do you call it? Shoot.
Institutional asset advisors.
I was going to go in a different direction on it, but an
Oh.
awesome commercial team and just a super humble guy. So Justin, good morning, and thank you so much for jumping on the call. So let's start and just dive in super deep into this. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Justin.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for coming on in this early morning. I actually tuned in yesterday about the imposter thing, so it's pretty interesting that everyone gets on pretty early every morning. But yeah, I've been doing real estate since 2011. I've got my license then, and at the time, I think I was like just I was getting my license and I was about 21, so I almost couldn't when I was studying to get my license, I couldn't get a drink of alcohol. So I remember that time. But from now until then, it's been a journey. The first 7 years, I would say, I was doing a lot of family deals and friends, sphere of influence rather than like cold calling and whatnot. And it's been a struggle doing things on my own. Before, and I was always hovering around like almost six-figure income. And so finally getting into commercial is how I kind of blossomed into the person I am today. And I owe a lot to Gabriel and the team. When I met Gabriel in downtown, it was like in a commercial meeting at KW Commercial in downtown LA. And when we had a meeting, we meet all the time and we have like our listing presentations, or like everyone pitches their listings or pocket listings. And I was just feeling out the office at the time. I didn't jump in. And when I was hearing everyone here about other people's listings, I was confused. I was like, why is everyone having only off-market listings and not their own listings? And I had a triplex at the time. And so I was seeking guidance on how to close my triplex, because it's the first commercial building I had listed, right? And it's coming from a family member, a friend's mother. And I took like a 3% listing. It was pretty low, but I was desperate to learn this commercial listing side of things. So when I met everyone there, I was feeling like, oh, why is everyone having no listings? And then when I heard Gabriel speak, he was talking about closing like a $70-80 million portfolio. And I was like, I want what he's doing, because ultimately I want to like branch out and like do hotel deals or big apartment sales. And that's kind of why I got into real estate, right? I ultimately wanted my name on top of a building one day that I own, right? You go to downtown LA, you go see those huge high rises, and you see, Ernst and Young, or those huge names, right? And I never seen a Chinese name, so that was my dream, to always put Chu on top of a building. And so I met Gabriel, and we hit it off. He saw that I was going to put the time in. And so I think at the time, I was still living at my mom's house in West Covina, and I was driving 45 minutes to an hour every morning to get to the gym, and then get to downtown LA, and then do a whole 8 to 9 hours of cold calling, and then drive in traffic coming back. And so it was a grind. You definitely have to put the time in. So it was good that Gabriel and I hit it off, and we kind of just banged away and struck gold with that $400 million deal. And sure, it was part of it is luck, but it was a lot of cold calling and it was a lot of hard work. So
Love that.
it's kind of like awesome. A short couple minutes spiel. But
No, I love that, Justin. Thank you. No, it's an awesome story, and we'll dive deep into that. So going back to 2011, you say you started real estate. So you said you started in residential, correct?
Yeah, so 7 years of residential solo friends and family listings.
Gotcha. Awesome. Okay, cool. So why did you choose commercial? Was it mere because of that multifamily apartment that you had as a listing, that kind of pivot, or was it that you got inspired going to these meetings and seeing all these commercial people there, ultimately doing these heavy deals in commercial?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people have their different whys. Mine was my dad's early retirement, and so and then I had like 30 something thousand dollars of credit card debt at the time, and I was like, something's got to change because this ain't it. I gotta change different avenues because doing residential on my own wasn't cutting it, and I wanted the bigger paychecks, and I was willing to do the grind. And I remember when I got into commercial, I didn't make a paycheck for like the first 6 7 months, and then on that for the seventh month I made like 65,000. So I paid off my credit card debt, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna double down on this and work harder.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. There's big differences in residential and commercial, but sometimes the commercial realm takes a little bit longer to execute, and it's like you said, Justin, it's the grind, right? So how many hours were you spending just lead generating once you pivot into the commercial?
I would say on average 45 to 50 hours a week, um, Monday through Friday. One thing I do love about commercial versus residential is I don't have to do open houses anymore. And so Monday through Friday, I am grinding, and then I can take a break on the weekends and do analysis or take off the phone or get off the cold calls because no one's really picking up on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, and there's no emotions either, too. It's all calculations, it's all numbers too, as well, right?
All the emotions are on me, like, struggling to get this deal done all the time, but I mean, it's all worth it. But yeah, you take the emotion out of it. One thing I realized in residential is I think one of I remember a couple years back I went on this showing, and we were gung-ho about getting this house for my client, and then my client ended up saying, hey, I actually don't like that the walls are a different color. And I was like, are you kidding me? You can change and paint this color. He's like, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm out. I was like, yeah, I gotta do something about this. I gotta go into commercial.
That's awesome. So the cool thing about commercial is it's not just California. So share with us that as a commercial agent, you can also go outside of the state of California and do business with other states and other agents. So tell us a little bit on how that looks.
Yeah, so when I met Gabriel, he was doing a lot of deals in Texas. He wanted to actually move there and started doing so he can have his own boots on the ground to do all those listings and stuff in Texas. And so when I started working with him like about 4 or 5 years ago, we did a lot of local things, but a lot of our California money wanted to buy out of state because they couldn't find yield in California. So like 2 or 3 caps we're selling over here versus like 4 and 5 caps in Texas. And so that huge jump of, more, cash flow was incentivizing our California buyers to go out there. So we started calling a lot in the places that they had on their acquisition criteria. So it was pretty cool that we got to do that. I mean, right now, Gabriel and I are flying to Nevada in next week or so just to meet one of our owners to get this deal done. So it's pretty exciting to kind of travel for real estate.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the beauty of commercial deals is if you know how to maneuver, there's opportunities that you can go anywhere in the States and connect with other phenomenal agents to make these deals stick and ultimately close them out. So, yeah, I know. Was it Texas or was it Atlanta that you and Gabriel closed?
Yeah, so Gabriel's closed with Olivia in, I think, Houston,
Okay.
Houston or Dallas. I wasn't working on that deal, but they have a new listing that we have in Stone Mountain, Georgia. That one's a 977 units. And so we are about to get that deal done with Christine too. So it's pretty cool. We're we like our team because they're all hustlers, just like me. And so we try to make sure that we have that atmosphere in our team rather than someone that's, lazy or, everyone keeps each other in check.
Yeah, gotcha. Let's go back to 2020 when the pandemic. Tell us how that was in the commercial realm, because I'm assuming during that time you were doing commercial.
We were, and there was a lot of uncertainty in the market. A lot of people weren't spending money, and the only deals that were getting done were people that were already under contract or having to satisfy exchanges, right? You have a gun to your head for 45 days of identification period. And so those deals got done. But I think towards the end of 2020 is when it started picking up again. And it weeded out a lot of the newbie agents and the people that didn't work hard. And it really shined for the people that had gray hair on their head. Not me, but Gabriel says this all the time. The people that had gray hair on their head, seen a couple of recessions, and they know how to save people's assets rather than, some person that, like me, 32. I know what I don't know. I know I don't have the experience that someone that's been in the business for 20 something years. So I use Gabriel as a mentor and mentee relationship so I can learn everything he has. And then, he's happy to share that with me.
Love that. Awesome. So what motivates you, Justin?
Every day I have this saying to myself and all my friends and family, they all know it, that to get 1% better, right? Whether it be at the gym, getting at real estate, and sometimes you fall off and the holidays come around and you gain a couple pounds, but then you always know how to discipline yourself to get better. And it's baby steps always in the beginning, but you make sure to work hard on yourself. And that way I was just talking to my my brother about this yesterday, right? Because you go to the gym to fight off these demons rather than bringing your insecurities out in the world. And so you continue to get better because you feel more confident on like who you are as a person. That way, when you go into the business world, you are talking to people with confidence. And so that drives me every day.
Love that. Love that. So what does a typical day look like in Justin's world?
5:20, I have my alarm clock go off. Most of the times I snooze for like 2 or 3 times. And then I'm like, I gotta get up. And so I go drive to Gold's Gym in Arcadia, get a good workout in before getting to the office at between 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And Christine Tong and my team is probably laughing right now because she beats me to the gym, or it beats me to the office every day. And then about 9, or I would say get done around 4:30, 5 o'clock of cold calling and deal making. Sometimes you're going off on appointments. Yesterday I had to show the listing in Pasadena to some clients to get that deal done. And you're all over the place, right? And for real estate, you have to make sure you're lead generating every day and making sure that it's a 24/7 business, because sometimes I'm getting texts or emails from clients at like 9:30, and then sometimes we're getting on conference calls with the East Coast at like 6 to 7 a.m. or here. So it's a grind. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I like to just relax and go hiking or do something relaxing, rather than, I used to party all the time, and it was just like a hindrance because on Mondays I feel really horrible. But now I think I'm older now and I just want to chill.
Well, you're definitely more mature, and I think all of us go through that period, right?
Mhm.
So, and a lot of us, continue even into our 40s and 50s.
Yeah. The hangovers hurt more now.
Yeah, just wait till you get to my age.
You're still young, man.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, yeah, so wanted to just dive into, knowing what the daily routine looks like, the grind of, getting into real estate. So let's go back. Why did you end up choosing real estate as your career path?
Oh man, the origins of Justin. Okay. So my mom and dad, they used to do a lot of luxury development, right? They would buy these houses with these rundown abandoned houses with these huge lots in Arcadia. And then they would build these luxury homes, and they would band all their monies together with their uncles and aunts, and then everyone gets a turn on like developing their own property, and then pay the uncles and aunts back. And so that fascinated me, right? The teamwork of real estate and getting things done with other people, using other people's money. And then I think when I was like 15, 16, my mom brought me into like one of our flips, and she was telling me to go work with like how to put the caulking, how to lay tile, how to put in the laminate flooring. So I knew all these things. And she made it a point to have me, I knew what she was doing. Like later when I was older, she was planting the seed in order for me to know how hard it takes to work, and like learning, how to earn a dollar. And so I dropped out of college and I got into real estate in 2011. And since then, I was trying to make a point to do this without a college degree. And now in the commercial field, I realize a lot of them have college degrees. And so I'm kind of duking it out with the best of them, which I'm pretty proud of myself. But, I think it comes time where you have to realize you have to still keep your mind sharp. And so I'm reading every day and making sure that happens and I don't drop the ball in that aspect.
Love that. Love the story. Yeah. It started with the family. That's pretty awesome, pretty cool. To really get to see the inside of what internally motivates you to get into to real estate. That's yeah. And for a lot of us, that's not the avenue why we get into real estate, right? We get into the real estate because of the money, and now more so than ever, right? It's everything that we see on social media, stuff on television. But love the story on how the family built that fundamentals and kind of got you into understanding that aspect of the industry that ultimately got you into real estate, that ultimately got you into commercial. So
Yeah.
so what's the future look like for Justin?
Gabriel and I we were having a meeting the other day, and we were planning to grow this out, hire more people and get this growing into the sense that we want to do more national deals. We want to have more of a national and local presence, and fly to get meetings, and eventually have all of our team make 6-7 figures easily, and grow this out on that aspect. Outside of commercial, I want to own several properties and have like passive income, and then making sure that my family is taken care of and my mom and dad don't have to worry about money anymore. And I think ultimately you have to make sure you have a good why, otherwise you lose motivation and thinking that I can take care of my parents, buy them a car, buy them a house, pay off their debts, and making sure that works out for everyone. And so that drives me.
Got it. Cool. What was your biggest struggle, challenge, difficult transaction that you were able to keep it together and ultimately close the deal?
January 2021 is when we had our first call, or I cold called the the owner of the $400 million deal, and he's a developer. His name's Barry Shy. And when we were talking, he gave us a chance ultimately to sell his buildings. And it took 14 months to get that from initial call to closing the deal in April 2000 last year. And so that was difficult because I remember I was on a plane to Denver and Gabriel calls me. He's like, hey, sorry to break the news. It's like New Year's Eve, right? We're traveling all at that time. And Gabriel's grinding away trying to get this deal consummated. And so he calls me and he's like, hey, sorry, I think the deal's gonna fall apart. And I was like, don't say that. You know, I'm not gonna worry about this. In Gabe, we trust, making sure that he can get that done. And so he called me on the new year and he's like, I got them back into the deal. So yeah, I actually got my vision get worse on me because I was doing a lot of analysis on the screen, and I had to get glasses for the first time. And so when we closed that deal, it was really sweetened the deal for us because I was just like, man, this could have been like our huge miss. You know, we spent a whole year on it and all our efforts, and it didn't go somewhere, but we ended up closing the deal. And so that was, Gabriel told me he nearly cried after the deal, and I was like, yo, me too. You know, like it was very sweet that happened.
So I'm assuming this transaction, there was a buyer already involved in the trenches, correct?
Oh
So,
yeah. So it ended up being a buyer that Gabriel knew and on his years of the business. So he showed him where that deal could go in the future because sure, at the time when they bought it, there was rent moratoriums and things like that, and tenants that weren't paying because of COVID, and everyone knows that story. But eventually they know that, you know, downtown LA is going to eventually get back to where it was. Like right now, you and I see like the homeless people everywhere, and it was a struggle because every time we showed the building, there was like homeless people fighting in the streets, and it sucked for us because we're thinking like these properties don't show well. They're 5 towers, 1,037 units, and so we were touring like the whole day, and so you're going to see some homeless issues there, and eventually I mean, we'll see what Karen Bass will do, but you know, I don't want to get into politics, but we'll see what happens in the future. But we were selling the idea that downtown LA was going to get a lot better, and he believed it.
yeah, wow. That's an awesome story. Yeah. And and you cannot get the emotions in it, right? When you work so hard on this particular, and it all happened from picking up the phone and making a call and connecting.
Yeah, and it seems pretty that easy that when you say it like that, but you don't know how many times I picked up that phone to get that.
Yeah. Wow. And that doesn't happen that often either, right? Where you get that type of transaction, you know. So
Yeah.
the importance, and why is prospecting very important to you? Why do you think that's the key to, you know, a lot of our success in real estate?
Yeah, Gabriel has a saying. He says commercial real estate is a contact sport, and the person with the most contacts wins the game. And how to get contacts is you make a lot of calls. So our team, we challenge each other to make, and we do, to make 300 phone calls a week each. And so we make sure those 300 phone calls turns into like maybe 3 to 5 leads a week. And so those 3 to 5 leads get nurtured, you know, weekly, and then we try to turn that into a deal, to a Zoom meeting, to a, you know, flying out of state to get that done, and then turn it into closing the transaction ultimately.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's a lot of calling, but that's what you need to do in order to start connecting. I say you're going to get a lot of no's, right? Before you get that one that says yes. And
Yeah.
then it's like starting over again, getting the grind, making those calls, staying committed, staying disciplined, right? And that's sometimes the hard thing. We tend to stop too soon.
Yeah.
when you really know the outcome and the opportunities, that you still continue pressing forward, there's light on the other side of that tunnel for sure.
Yeah. And there's a majority of commercial real estate, 95% is all men. And we kind of like learn the psychology of it. Like when guys grow up, they get rejected all the time. And so they all wait for that, one no or one yes after 100 no's, and ultimately getting this deal. And so you can see why it's mainly guys, but the girls that we have on our team are tenacious, and they get after it every day, and they're fearless. And so it's a testament to how Gabriel runs his team with his mentorship.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many right now are currently on the team?
We have about 6 to 8 right now. Some of them are part-time.
Okay. And what is your main role as part of the team?
Gabriel's right-hand guy. If we like to say I'm the soft closer and Gabriel's like the hard closer, right? And then the people that do get the leads, it's like that scene in Boiler Room when they call Rico.
Yeah.
So you run into the rooms, and we try to get a deal done that way. And they're picking up pretty quickly. And so right now they don't need me so much, but every now and then we get into the call and we're like tag teaming these calls. And it's a good synergistic thing and team thing that we have going on right now.
I love it. It's an old movie from, I believe, the late 90s, Boiler Room. And Van Diesel, I think, is one of the actors. And who's the other actor that comes out on the movie? It's a great movie.
It's a sales movie.
Yeah, it's a movie about sales, but it's really the cold calling aspect of it that it's really great. If you haven't seen the movie, it's called Boiler Room. It's similar to Wall Street, but it just has that quirkiness to it, but it has a lot of big nuggets on it, as we do in real estate. The avenue of picking up the phone and just dedicating the time to connect with as many people as possible. But it's like you said, Justin, it's like when they get a hot lead on the phone, right? They pick up and say, Rico. And so one of the senior guys, the closers, right? That's awesome.
Exactly how we run our team.
That's awesome. So I know I was asking you, what does the future look like? And you mentioned, you want to build a portfolio of real estate investments and, positive cash flow. And you said something that resonated with me is knowing and understanding how to analyze properties. So what systems do you use to ultimately say it's a good investment or a bad investment?
I think ultimately you can make a lot of good money in real estate if you have a long-term vision. A lot of people see real estate as like a get money quick scheme, but it's really a get rich slow scheme, because you buy this property. For example, one of the San Gabriel properties I bought recently, I bought it at 600, and after I'm done with the rehab, it'll probably be worth like 950 or so, and it's a good area. But eventually, like next year or so, it'll be worth 1.1 if you hold it longer. But a lot of people want to sell when it's like 900, and they don't want to wait that long for the next year to appreciate. And it's also we're doing a 90 unit development, Gabriel and I and our partners in Ontario, and we took over an abandoned church out of bankruptcy, and we're going to demolish the church and build 90 apartment buildings or 90 units. And so it's the long-term vision, right? Because it takes like a year and a half to get entitlements approval to build the building, but ultimately you see the grand scheme of things 1 to 2 years out. And so the greatest thing that I have versus Gabriel is time. And a lot of people want to start like later in life, but I think to buy real estate and wait is probably the best advice at a younger age.
Yeah, love it. Cool. I'm going to open it up. If anyone has any questions for Justin, this is the time to do so. Anyone on the call? Cool. All right. Well, Justin, I appreciate you. It is 8:31. Great share with the group. I appreciate you tremendously for jumping on the call and just kind of sharing, your experience, understanding the ins and outs, but more so, what the future holds for you. So thank you again. Have fun, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate everyone for getting on the call.